Good morning, everybody on the East Coast, West Coast, everywhere in the U.S. It's still morning. Sometimes I say good afternoon when it's morning, and good morning when it's, I guess, never when it's afternoon. I am Jay Vix, and welcome to Meet the Experts. This is episode 17, which is mind-boggling to me because I feels like I've done like 3 of them, and then other times it feels like I've done 103 of them. Happy to be here as always. I love doing Meet the Experts. It is Thursday, June 30th. If you're watching this live, you know that. If you're watching on the replay, well, you know when it was live. I'm excited for today's guest. Mike Buzinski, we call him Buzz. So if I call him Buzz a bunch of times throughout the interview, that's why. But he's a good friend. He's become a really good friend of mine over the last few months. We are both certified partners with Digital Marketer. And he's got a book out called The Rule of 26. And we're going to talk about that a little bit and why it's really important for your website to convert and some of the things you need to look at. So he's right in the same wheelhouse as me. He's got a great agency, and I couldn't be more thrilled to have him on today. If you need help with digital marketing or growing your small business, feel free to contact us. And if you have a small business and would like to be a guest on Meet the Experts, I will come back to that after the episode. And no cost, no obligation. I'd love to interview you about what you're an expert in. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up my buddy Buzz. Hey, man, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Awesome. It's so good to see you. I have been, whoops, I just kicked my table and it shook a little bit. I have been really excited for this interview because we booked this thing like 2 months ago now, I think.
I know.
And I've been just dying to talk to you because you sent me your book, you autographed it for me, which was wonderful. Thank you. And I got to dive in and digest quite a bit of it. And so just and having our conversations, I've been really looking forward to just making sure that you're a guest on here talking about everything that you do because you're so much fun. And I can't wait till we get to hang out again and maybe do some more karaoke at some point. So.
Well, you need to show up to the quarterlies.
I know. I couldn't do Austin. We were on family vacation. I was so upset.
Okay.
But I did have an excuse.
Fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Not
sure.
we didn't do the karaoke, but
No
we
karaoke this time.
fun. Yeah, no, it was a day of production. So everybody was at the studio doing digital marketer tidbits and like those types of things. So
I did see that, and I did see that there's a lot of content coming out about it. So I was a little bit jealous that I wasn't there for this one. But when I was there in December, I got to do some November and December. I got to do a little bit of that myself. So it's always a good time, and I love shooting video with Mark and the team over there. So
for sure.
Well, cool. Let's get started. So tell everybody a little bit about how long you've been in business with Buzzworthy.
So Buzzworthy is actually only been around for 3.5 years. It is a shoot off of my company that I started back in 2005. So technically I've been in business for 17 years. Originally it was a recording studio, grew into a production studio, and then it grew into a creative agency. And then a few years I split the marketing side of things away from the production. And so now we have a production house and then Buzzworthy Integrated Marketing.
Okay. So look, I know how I got into digital marketing. It was kind of by accident based on my background, but you have I didn't even know that about the recording studio and music production stuff. So
yeah,
that's fascinating. So how did you get into that? And then how did that morph into the digital marketing side of it?
So while I was in the service, I was still trying to become a rock star. And by the time I got out, I was like, I'm done with that. I was unemployable coming out of the Air Force in anything that I wanted to do. And so I said, if I can't be a rock star myself, I'll help other people's dreams. And so I started a recording studio. Buzz Biz Studios is actually what it was called back in the day. And about a year in, though, I realized that surviving off of starving musicians was a horrible business plan. So we pivoted into media production for small businesses. And so we started with, doing jingles. I was already into graphic design for my bands over the years for promotional stuff. And so we were just working with small businesses, doing business cards, and then we got into logos and websites, and it all just just added to it to become this full service media production house up in Anchorage, Alaska. And then over the years, people kind of tuned into the fact that I knew a little bit about marketing because I've been doing it before the service. I was in marketing and sales with some big companies, and so people started asking me my opinions on stuff, and I was like, well, I'm going to go broke just giving away all of this information. So
Yeah.
we started billing for that, and in that same time, digital marketing was kind of birthed in that arena and in that area of time. Right, that was 2005, 2008. Like by 2008, Facebook was full fledged. Social media marketing had kind of launched. SEO had kind of it had become a thing by 2007. And so, as any good entrepreneur, I just continued to bring in like, okay, well, how does this evolve with us? We need to evolve as a company. And so by 2018, I grew this creative agency into a behemoth that I felt like I owned a job more than I owned a company. And so as a multi-million-dollar company, I was not getting paid commensurate to the revenue we were generating. And so I was like, I need to do something different. And so I shut the doors on it and relaunched both divisions virtually. And so we've been virtual since January 2019.
That is amazing. Our stories are so parallel, more than you even know. And we're going to have a chat about the past playing in bands. And I was in the punk scene in New Jersey in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
And a good buddy of mine from that scene was in Anchorage, Alaska, lived in Anchorage for a long time between 2000, maybe 5 and 2019 or so.
Wow.
And he even played in a band up there. So
What
we
was
have
the
to have
band's name?
Run Like Hell.
I'm
And
not familiar with them. And I've worked with, like, when I was still in the service, I moonlighted at Humpy's, which is like the place to play downtown. I was a sound guy there for years.
well, we're gonna have to take that conversation afterward. That is cool, man. I didn't know that about you, and we have a lot to talk about from there. So
Good.
that's awesome. So anybody watching this on my personal profile right now would be like, "Oh, keep going down that path, that road." But tell me about this.
Folks are like, what's going on?
Yeah. Tell me about your team. You have others on your team that help you on the day to day?
Oh gosh, yes. I don't know anybody if you're doing this kind of work on your own, you own a job, right?
That's right.
And the whole reason people come to me is to have us become part of their team so they don't have to do it anymore. And so I learned very early on, you have to have the team. You're only as good as the team you put around you, and make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who are smarter at the things that you're dumb at. And so I've been doing that for a very long time. And so as we were rebuilding, I was really being more strategic about how many people. We had 22 employees at the creative agency, and I have friends who want to have 1,000 employees in their agencies, and I'm like, that is all you. I want to be able to leverage systems and have a more intimate relationship with our clients, and so that people don't just become numbers. Because once you start having 1,000, even you get into the hundreds of employees. So we have a mighty team of 9. And everybody's an expert at what they do. I don't ask people to try to work outside their genius and stay in that zone of genius for them. And that way we get the best output for our clients.
I love it. We are so lockstep and parallel with where we're at. My team is 8, and I totally agree with you. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it the way, I started out. I did have that job, and Ryan Dice said recently through this agency scale accelerator program. I don't know if you've been following. I'm definitely following.
It's on my list to visit. I've been so so busy lately. It's been like any new information is going to have to wait till after
That's
the summer.
I've missed a few of the sessions and have to go back. But one of the things that he said was we have to go from a place of saying, I can do that for you to I can get that done for you. And that is such a big shift, even in my brain still to this day, where I'm like, yes, I want to be there, but I have to get there. So that's pretty cool.
The we,
Um,
I say we. Yeah, we can do that.
We can do that. Right. We. All right. So you work with a lot of service-centric based businesses, right? Like service-based, not necessarily product-based. So a lot of these business owners, and I've seen this, a lot of just from networking groups I'm in and stuff, that service-based businesses, they're kind of a little slower to sometimes adopt to website digital, but the good ones want to, and the good ones do. But take a minute and talk about why it's so important for those service-centric businesses to really pay attention to their website and do website marketing.
Well, the simple fact is that in today's world, if you do not have, excuse me, if you do not have a website, you're probably missing, or you're definitely missing out on 68% of all the business out there. That's there for you, because there's statistics that show that 68% of all purchases, regardless of whether they're a service or a product, start with a search query. People are researching who and where to do business before they go with anyone, right? And so if you don't have a website, that means you have no spokesperson representing your business on the internet. And that's where people start their research, right? Even if you have a referral from somebody that comes to you, they are it's like in the 70 percentile. They will research you before they call or agree to meet with you. So very high percentage of people are relying on the fact that you have a website to basically understand the validity of your business, where you're coming from, make sure it's a good fit. As service-based businesses, we're looking at values. We're looking at the services you actually provide. Who do you provide those for? If all of those things match, great, we're good to go. But gone are the days where you can just say, yeah, I'm a plumber and I'm going to have enough business that way. It's very, very rare that happens. And usually those type of businesses are not much bigger than a solopreneur.
Sure. Yeah. A lot of times it's like the plumber is the business owner, wears all the hats, and maybe has one person to help them with their tasks, right, when they get going.
Yeah, maybe to have somebody that's on the job that will do taping and clean up and set up and stuff like that. But yeah, the business owner is, I actually have a painter. That's probably why I said that. And he's finally getting a website because we're talking about the fact that, you can't just be the painter for the rest of your life. If you want to get past, you get your business bigger than you, then you have to set up systems to allow that to happen. And a website is a leveraging tool, I should say, to get there in your marketing.
Right? Sure.
I don't necessarily give out my phone number as much as I give out my website, because I want people to understand where we're coming from, so that when we do get on the phone, I don't have to start from scratch. And they already have questions of like what they want, because we lay it out. Like, how do we work? Well, we have some DIY stuff, and we have some done with you stuff, and we have our signature services where it's just all white glove and everything's taken care of for you, right? And people come to that call now and going, I'm really interested in your SEO platform because I want to do it myself. Okay, great. Let's talk about that. And let's look at the options. Or I don't want to do any of that stuff.
That's right.
How do I just give you money and you earn me more money? I'm right. Like, okay, well, let's go down that road, right? And so then I don't have to present all of the things, because that takes up time, everybody, right? And the website is what allows me to do that. If I didn't have that website, I'd be stuck on phone calls every day,
right,
talking about this and that, and all three levels of service we have, and then the complexities within those, because not everybody needs everything anybody has to offer, really. Sure. And so it's rare that you run into somebody and says, okay, well, I want to do DIY here and DWI there and DFY there. It's like, no, it's usually like, here's one lane and we're gonna work that lane.
I think it's so important to keep it simple too. And when you're talking to somebody on the phone, you can almost hear their eyes glazing over and things going over their heads. So
Right.
very, very true. So you mentioned a number of things that you do, and we do a lot of those services, but when you talked about your signature services and things, what are a few common types of issues that you really like helping people with?
So the biggest thing that I like to help, that I find myself helping, and I have a lot of joy doing it because it's a strategy, right?
Mhm.
Creating that strategy for the client so that when they're coming to me, a lot of times a prospect is actually uh, coming to me for a tactic, right? And I've learned over the years, and actually something that you really kind of drove home the first time we talked, was the fact that you got to have the strategy, regardless if you're only going to be doing a tactical service for a company. And
Mhm.
so we're moving towards that model of like there is going to be some level of strategy that has to happen so that we understand how this tactic meets in to your overall marketing ecosystem. And so
Absolutely.
our signature services are strategy first, and then we figure out what tactics actually need to be there. Because you come in and you're like, I think I need this widget, right? And
Right.
you're like, well, why do you think you need that widget? Because it does this. Well, how does that fit into your marketing strategy? I don't have one of those. So how do you know it's going to work?
Right.
How are you going to measure it? How are you mapping out the success? Da, 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 da. So we're really eager to help people understand, the customer value journey is a big deal because that really creates the roadmap of like where all of these tactics and widgets fit. And if they
Right.
don't fit in that customer value journey, then they probably don't belong in the campaign. So that's
Absolutely.
much easier for us and the clients because we don't have to guess, because we know, and they don't have to worry because they can see it
Sure.
right there. It's documented.
God, it warms my heart. And I know where you're coming from too. And I do, we failed and failed and failed. And recently I took somebody on, um, and I I thought I could play hero and tried to do it without strategy. And we've tried a few things and they're just not working. And I'm like, we don't have a strategy, it's like, so even now, like I still, it's kind of the hallmark of what we do is if you're not willing to invest the time and money into building out a strategy, then I'm sorry when the tactics that you've now tried to employ me to do. I've been able to say no, right, and say, look, I can't do it. I'm going to fail. You're gonna foolishly give me money, and if we don't have strategy first, and if we don't lay out the customer avatar, the customer value journey, things that the average person watching this may not quite understand yet, that's okay. But if we don't have that done, and if you own a small business and you don't get that done, then you can try every shiny object in the world and for a couple weeks and say, that doesn't work. It's not that doesn't work. It's
Yeah.
that you don't know where it's supposed to go, or if you're supposed to even do it, right? So
Well, I think that that's one of the biggest mistakes that businesses make is that they think that one thing is going to change their entire lives.
right.
And in marketing and in advertising, there is no such thing as the one trick pony where
Right.
it's like you do this one thing and everything is scalable. There's an
Mhm.
ecosystem involved. And when we look at traffic versus conversion versus average revenue per client, all of those have different objectives. Therefore, they have different tactics behind obtaining those objectives.
Sure. Yep. So, all right. You wrote a book. I have it. Thank you. It's
Sure.
called The Rule of 26, right?
Yes.
And the one of the things that I really love about the book is that you wrote it in a way that the non-techie, like the non-tech savvy people, it can kind of make sense to them. So talk about that. How can that book, how can the Rule of 26 help those non-techie people, and we talk to them all every
Mhm.
day, like take command of their website marketing?
Well, that was the whole point of the book was to create a website strategy that the layman can understand. And so when we're as marketers, we love statistics, right?
Mhm.
And unfortunately, there are lies, there are damn lies, and then there are statistics. And you can make a statistic pretty much say anything you want. And there's a lot of marketers out there who do that. They leverage the ambiguity of statistics and bend the truth a little bit with numbers. And people look at it and go, oh, okay, yeah, that looks good. And basically, everything that we see out there are technically vanity metrics unless they move the revenue needle. And so I did my research and I found 3 metrics that directly move the revenue needle. And so the rule of 26 utilizes those 3 and then creates a compounding effect of twice as much revenue from it. So real quick, if you haven't read the book, the rule of 26 states that if you increase your unique traffic by 26%, your conversion rate of that traffic by 26%, and your average revenue per client by 26%, you get a compounded output of 100% more business coming from your website.
It's fantastic. I love that. And it's originally, and I think you mentioned this to me too, is like, wait, there's 3. Why is it called the rule of 26? And then it made sense, when you said that if you can increase each one, and 26% is just not a lot, especially for newer businesses, less established businesses, right? 26% is not a lot. It's not a massive increase, but yeah, you do those 3 things in combination, and all of a sudden you've doubled the size of your business. You've doubled your sales, doubled your revenue.
And you can do it again, and you've then quadrupled it.
Right.
So if you are starting small, it's okay. That means that they're easy to, people are like, well, what if I have 0 money coming from my thing? Well, we're going to just go right through the same concept. We're going to go through the rule 26, and we're going to go 0 to 26, right? So if you have 0 visitors, we're going to get you 26 visitors. And then we're going to get, establish a, 26 is probably not the number. We'll go with 0. Everybody has some level of visitors, but we're going to get you into the hundreds of visitors so that we can establish a conversion rate. And then we're going to make sure that we are increasing the average revenue per client along the way. And a lot of times for established businesses, I go backwards, and we actually go with the average revenue per client, because you don't have to even touch the website. You have clients already that are paying you, right? And so we take a look at, if you are looking to pull in more traffic to your website, what traffic are you trying to get? And most people go, well, anybody wants my services. Anybody? Do you really want anybody just calling you? Or do you want your perfect client calling you, right? And that's where that strategy goes into, and understanding your perfect client persona or avatar, and understanding their client value journey, and then understanding what they value. And so one of the easiest things I talk about with new clients is that we visit their favorite client. Who is that when they call you, excited to talk to them? When you see an email from them, you immediately open it up because you can't wait to see what you can do for them. That client right there is your most profitable client. Now, when we talk about profitability, we got to talk about efficiencies, right? If they're a pain in the butt, then that's not very efficient, and therefore not as profitable, right? But regardless, your favorite client, what would happen if you went to your favorite client right now and asked them, if I charged you 26% more than I do today for the same services, would you still consider it a great value? They're going to have 2 answers, yes or no, right? Well, if yes, okay, I respect our contract. You're going to keep that pricing for a while until you guys renew your contract, and then you're going to talk about that increase. But now you have the new pricing that is acceptable to your perfect client. Now we got to go find more of them. And that's where we go back and go, okay, how do we find those people and attract them to the website? And then how do we talk to those people? What is important to those people? And the great thing is you have the market research right there. They're paying you to be their vendor. Now you can ask the favor of, can you explain to me why you love me so much? Because I understand why I love you as a client. You're my favorite client. But why do you love us as a vendor? We need to understand all those things. We put that into the website, and we have the website talk to basically your perfect client over and over again. more times than not, your perfect clients are going to be your potential clients are going to be reaching out to you versus just anybody who might need your service. And that's a lot more profitable.
I love that. And it's something that I don't think about with my clients, but interviewing your clients and getting them to say that is like huge for copy, right? For what you should be saying for your messaging. That's massive. So that's a major golden nugget to take away from this talk today. So wow, mind blown. Thanks for that, Buzz. So a couple more. We're gonna wrap up here in just a second. But come on, lay it out there for me. You do a lot, right? You do a lot for people, for service businesses, for a lot of businesses. What's your favorite part of your work?
We go back to strategy. I love to do the strategy part. And, I tell my clients, like, listen, for the first 90 days, you're going to see a lot of me. But when we get past the strategy part, you're going to be talking with my tacticians, right? The people who are going to carry out the tactical part of that strategy, because that's where their zone of genius is. It's not where mine is, right? And then I get to talk to all of my clients every 3 months when we revisit their strategies, because we work in 90-day sprints. So that way we never lose track of where we're at, where we've been, and where we want to go. And so every 90 days, I check in as the owner and make sure that everybody's still on board and we're happy where we're at and all the good things. So really love helping people understand and establish and then understand how a strategy is actually helping them.
Has a tremendous like rhythm and cadence to meetings, the way you do it. And I'm right there with you in lockstep. I think that's true. And I think about my biggest clients that are on retainer. We do the same thing every 90 days where I talk to my clients weekly. And I don't have them talking to my tacticians. So that's a little different, but I like your method better because it frees you up to kind of stay in your zone of genius in the strategy, even though you know these other areas. Just if your favorite thing to do and the thing you enjoy, the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning is strategy, and you can find a way to stay in that zone, then you're kind of always comfortable, right? You're kind of, and you're doing what you want to do and you love it. Yeah, you're excited.
I'm not a fan of mashing buttons, is what I call it. Yeah. I'm not the button masher. I have people who that's what they want to do. And I found that, everybody does their business a little bit different, but I found that, you have lead tacticians and you have an account managers and account coordinators and stuff like that talk with your clients. It's okay because you're serving those clients better because you can get back to them faster, right? And if everybody's on par or like on the same level within your company, it shouldn't matter who talks to your clients.
Got it. Yeah. No, you're right. I do. I love that. All right, cool. So I have a ticker going at the bottom of the screen. Everybody can see it, and it goes this way, which is actually backwards for me, but it looks good to you guys. So I got your email, buzz@buzzworthy.biz. I got your phone number there. How do you prefer to get contacted? Tell us about social media, website. I know you said you like when people visit your website first. So lay it out there. How can people get in touch with you?
So buzzworthy.biz is our main website. We have You Are Buzzworthy on LinkedIn. You can also find me on Instagram at michael.buzinski. We have the Buzzworthy Marketing on Instagram as well. LinkedIn, You Are Buzzworthy and Michael Buzinski on LinkedIn. If you want to reach out to me directly with any questions you had from our interview today, just email me at buzz@buzzworthy.biz.
Awesome.
Oh, and if you're looking for the book.
Yes.
ruleof26.com.
Okay, ruleof26.com.
Yes.
Perfect.
And I'll give you a link to the ebook and the paperback.
Perfect. I had put Amazon in there, but rule of 26, ruleof26.com. If you're good, I have the book, like I said, a couple times, and it's awesome. If you have a service-based business, I strongly suggest you pick it up. I make nothing for promoting the book, except maybe getting a hug from my buddy Buzz when I see him. But really, trust me, it's a great book. I encourage all business owners that have a website to go get it. And man, thanks for jumping on. We made the 30-minute mark, which is rare in Meet the Experts land.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I have a long origin story. Maybe that helps.
I love it. No, that's great. Well, man, Buzz, I will talk to you again soon. Thanks for being a guest. I'm gonna let you out and do my little wrap up here. But it was awesome talking to you. I've actually got to the next 2 days of quarterly sprint planning with my team starting right now. So we'll be wrapping up, and I'll talk to you soon, my friend. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot, Jay.
All right, take care. That was awesome. I had so much fun talking to Buzz. Great guy. Definitely trust his opinion, his value, his insight, and anything he has to say. I'm going to pop one last thing up really quick. Whoops, wrong one. If you'd like to be a future guest on Meet the Experts, there's a link at the bottom. Just go to guests.advertisinggreensboro.com, fill out the form, apply. It's free. Love to have you. If you own a small business or if you're an expert in your field and you want to come on and chat with me a little bit, I try to make it really easy for you. Then go ahead and go to guests.advertisinggreensboro.com. Our next episode's coming up, I think, in 2 weeks with another certified partner from Digital Marketer, Manny Torres, who's another good buddy of mine. And I'm really excited about that. So if you have a small business owner, this episode and the next one should be really good, because instead of me telling you all these things you should be doing, you're hearing it from other people who are in the trenches like I am. So until next time, take care, and we'll see you on the next Meet the Experts. Bye.